Alright, so this is my replay from the ShadowOnlineGaming tournament against Eumaies. I went Vampire Counts. I heard that he was a good Dwarf player, but I still at the same time wanted to play Vampire Counts, hoping that I could give a good showing. So here we go. And this is my first tournament, by the way, in ShadowOnlineGaming tournament. I had a very tough group. I heard Eumaies was one of the best ones, was one of the best players out of my group, so I was expecting a very tough battle. Alright, so I brought, well, let's first start off by saying that I didn't understand the army limit cap rules. Being this being my first tournament, I probably should have asked questions from actual tournament players, but I went with it thinking, I mean, this is most people competitive is like, so I saw the PDFs and I thought with the numbers and me not reading it all that well, I guess, or just me being bad at comprehending things sometimes, I thought that you could only have 5 infantry, including like dire wolves and stuff like that, because there's like groups of units that you can only have a certain amount of, and I thought that meant all of the infantry in general, because it listed all the infantry types under it. So, and the same applies to everything else, so like cryptors, all the large units, etc, etc. So yeah, I ganked myself, because typically you would see a very wide line of infantry against dwarves as vampire counts. So from that, it was kind of a bad start. I already knew. Okay, but nonetheless I brought 3 grave guards with great weapons. I know they perform very well against dwarves. They have, I'm not sure how they perform against hammerers, because I haven't played this matchup very much. I hardly play the vampire counts, but I know they trade well with pretty much everything else below that tier, below the hammerers. And then of course I brought 1 grave guard. If I had realized the army limit rules, I probably would have brought 1 more shielded variant of the grave guard, and maybe some chaff for my right flank, like maybe some zombies, no, not zombies, skeleton spearmen or skeleton warriors. But yeah, I think the grave guard with great weapons are a great choice, and I think even the shielded variants are great too, even if they have no armor piercing. They just hold very well, and for the missile block chance with their shields, I just think they're worth it, especially to kill off like miners and stuff like that. And I think they trade well with dwarf warriors either way. I'm hoping they do, or I'm assuming they do. And then I brought 2 fellbats, obviously to distract ranged units, with some silver chevrons on there to up their leadership and melee defense up a little bit, to keep them staying in the battle a bit longer. Also brought a necromancer. He's pretty much just a summon battery and magic battery, pretty much. But yeah, obviously probably shouldn't have brought Dance Macabre, but it's whatever. But yeah, and then I brought 2 crypt horrors. Again, not understanding the armor limits. I normally would have brought these guys, because they're just big targets and easy to shoot. But I know I needed to fill my army with something, because otherwise I would have just had just this without the crypt horrors. And yeah, they don't perform well this matchup, that's for sure. At least I don't perform well with them. The Vargolf, obviously, one of the major staples in this matchup, I feel, at least from what I've heard and from what I've seen of YouTube videos from YouTubers, Total War YouTubers. Same with the Black Coach. People bring multiple Black Coaches. Again, army limit restricted me. I thought My micro isn't the best, so I thought that I wouldn't do well with it, but figured it's a good bring either way. Then we have the Strigoi Vampire Lord. Great armor piercing. Has an ability to up his armor piercing even more. Claws of Morcane, 40%. That's just a big boost right there. Opal Amulet, cheap, brought it. And then Spirit Leech, Invocation, and his ability to command the unliving. I was going to use that to tie up the Slayers with Criticals. They would have done really well there. But unfortunately, my opponent did not bring Slayers. Still a great Lord though. 75 melee attack, poison. Like I said, a lot of armor piercing, regeneration. Would definitely pick again. Okay. Also have Feasters in the Dusk again for the Slayers and to mingle with the Raiders and stuff as well. I mean Rangers. My opponent, of course, it's not as big. It's not like super heavy layers like the typical competitive dwarf army matchup is. I mean army is, with the mighty charges and etc. etc. But it still has some layers onto it. We have 3 hammers, I believe. 3 hammers, yes. 1 Longbeard, the great weapon, the Grumbling Guard. Great pick because of them being Longbeards. They have immune to psychology, I believe. Or what was it? I guess not. Oh yeah, here, immune to psychology. Great pick. And then they have armor piercing. I think they would do better than the great weapons, maybe. 24, 26, 40. 24, 30, 36, 51, 34. I think the great weapons end up winning because of the abundance versus infantry. And the healing, of course, and plus higher model cap. But I may be wrong. And then I think 3 standard longbeards or 4. Yeah, 4 standard longbeards. No, 1, 2. Yeah, 4 standard longbeards with 1 regular dwarf warrior. We have 2 quarrelers. I don't understand the pick of the quarrelers. Obviously, without my competitive experience. I know Rangers aren't much cheaper, so it's not that big of a deal, but I know the Quarrelers have shields, and I believe the Rangers don't. So I don't understand why he picked these instead of the Rangers. I want to save them a bit of gold. Because I know the shields and the Quarrelers, they help trade with with the opponent's ranged weapons, but obviously the Vampire guns don't have ranged weapons, so I have no idea. He also has a standard Dwarf Lord with this awesome item, Star Metal Plate. I don't think I see many people use the Dwarf Lord. I know it's a staple to bring normal Lords in the Dwarf roster compared to the Legendary Lords because they just don't pay off very well. But most people pick the Rune Lord. But this item on the standard Dwarf Lord, I can see him making I think it's really worth picking him because of it. 9 melee attack, it's especially valuable in the vampire counts matchup because they already have low melee attack as it is. So it's going to make the grind even worse because the grind is already bad enough as it is because dwarf have such high melee defense and high leadership. So I just think it's a great pick, honestly. I'm kind of glad I didn't have to face Runesmith spam, but I'm not sure which I would have preferred. Actually, I definitely would have preferred this one because Runesmith spam, it's tough. 3 Trollheimer torpedoes, which I definitely did not expect. I expected layers for sure, obviously. But these guys do really well in this matchup and pretty much nuke my large units, my important large units. So interesting pick by Eumaies. I learned how powerful they are just from this matchup. I shouldn't have sent the Velbats in so early. The way I group my units, I don't think I group them well enough because I always end up leaving units behind, or units end up going too fast ahead and get shot at. So the Felbats are going to take quite a bit of damage, and I think one even goes into crumbling state, which is not good because they need to tie down these range units. I know the big error here is letting these guys get ahead and starting to tie these down without even my infantry getting there, or without even my big infantry monstrous units getting there before that happens. I mean, it wasn't that bad of a timing issue. It was more of the fact that I let the Felbats take a bunch of shots first before that. So these guys are already crumbling before they even get to tie down the Torhammer torpedoes. So the lineups hit together. I understand why the great weapons. I was wondering why these guys were doing so bad, but I understand why now because of the effect Star Metal Plate. They have a 15 melee attack, and the radius is pretty wide, I think. I can't see it right now. It's distracting me too much. I did do a critical zombie summon, critical summoner here. Longbeard's not that great of a trade, but I had to use it. I feel like I had to use it either way. It's to distract some units. I probably should have sent them into the Iron Drakes, but I already sent the Faithful Creatures in the Dusk in there. They're obviously going to get destroyed by the hammers. I Spirit Leech the Lord, obviously. I don't know where else that could have been placed at. I probably should have maybe put them on Iron Drakes. I don't know though. I know that Spirit Leeching the Dwarf Lord is always a great choice. I left the Black Coach in the back for way too long, while my other large units were taking a bunch of Trollhammer torpedoes. So tried healing the Vargulf, but he's just taking way too much fire from the Trollhammer torpedoes. I took too long with my summons. I just summoned one just now, zombie summon. I should have had my necromancer over here maybe to summon those zombies around like better spots. I just summoned it nearest I could. Here I pop another critical summon actually. That's great. I think it's kind of a waste of magic honestly. In this matchup I don't know why I summoned another one. I should have just summoned more zombies, but yeah, the Torment Torpedoes just annihilates my Black Coach. So obviously having two would have been a lot nicer, and some chaff to bog these guys down, to absorb some of the fire, or to stop them from nuking the Black Coach like that. So that was a big loss, and the Vargulf went down earlier as well. Or is that a Cryptor? I can't tell. I think it's a Cryptor. I don't know, but Vargulf went down pretty early because of all that. Because of all the Trollhammer torpedo fire that I can't stop. So yeah, the Felbats did not get that much value off because of how I sent them in. Cryptors got destroyed because obviously Cryptors are just a big target, like Eumaies said. Because Graveguards, they did well enough with Star Metal Plate and just supporting fire and being 2v1'd sometimes. It just didn't help a lot for these guys. And with the lack of healing as well, that definitely did not help. My opponent did a good job of pulling the Grumbling Guard away from Strigoi to maybe try to focus fire him, but I popped the Opie Amulet, so I didn't take too much damage anyways. And with their regeneration, the Corridors wouldn't have done much damage either way. We finish up Longbeard. The entire time they were fighting the Longbeards, and they just barely finished them off. Graveguard have traded well with the Longbeards, but I'm not sure if that was due to the Cryptors or what. These great weapons get finished off. Dwarf Lord comes in, lowers the melee attack of these great weapons. They get nuked. Yeah, there's just nothing else to tie down these units, and it's pretty much army loss. Well, the army was lost after Vargulf and Black Coach had died. But yeah, definitely a lot to learn from this matchup. I needed more zombie summons, especially on the right spots. Shouldn't have kept using the critical summons. It was a waste of magic. More healing, of course. I don't know why I wasn't using enough healing, being the vampire counts. That's their strongest point. And just bad, what's the word for it? Bad timing on sending my units in. Nothing if I'm about to get killed like that. And of course, I have to repeat again, the army, misunderstanding the army limit thing. Destroyer Vampire Lord did really well. He didn't get as many kills. He didn't get that many kills. But he provided a lot of armor piercing to the table. I still think he's a great pick, especially against a traditional dwarf build with slayers. The criticals would have been a great tool to bog those guys down, but obviously he didn't bring any, so they were kind of useless here, especially these guys. Yeah, I think if I had understood the armor limit better, I would have done a bit of a better job, but I think with what I had, I'm kind of proud of how I did, besides my mistakes that I pointed out. Eumaies gave me some tips after that, telling me that the Cryptors aren't that worth it because of how big they are, how susceptible they are to damage, and then he brought up the more infantry standpoint, which I then told him my mistake of misunderstanding, and he corrected me and everything. So after this match, I get my next matchup perfectly fine because of Eumaies. But yeah, his Stormhammer torpedoes. Oh yeah, but thank you to Eumaies for correcting me and giving me some tips on what to do. Yeah, a lot of his infantry units were really low. Just my biggest trouble was the Stormhammer torpedoes and me having nothing to stop them. And of course my bad micro having to do with that. But yeah, they racked up 2 XP ranks. 3. I mean 1 here, but 2 here. But understandably so, they nuked my Wargolf and the Black Coach and the Cryptors, which were big answers to to possibly winning the fight. But yeah, thank you Eumaies for the battle. I have my next battle. Replay saved, and I'm gonna make a video on that one as well. Overall, I think this was a good experience, and thank you Eumaies for the amazing match.